Hello fellow creators, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're doing well. So as you can see from the title of this video is a fun video. I'm showing you how to sew this beautiful boo dress with organza detailing as well as drawstring detailing. So if you don't already know, I'm telling you now, drawstring is my favorite detail in dresses because it just makes dresses so versatile. So this dress can be worn as a dress, but it can also be worn as a top, as you would see here. I'm supposed to put it here. So as you would see, really versatile. You can mix it up. You can even make it like asymmetric. So yeah, I just really love this dress, and I also love the organza detailing. So yeah, that is just that for that. This headband that I'm wearing is a set with this. So if you want to know how to make this headband as well, I'm going to link it up here when I post it. So yeah, that is just that for that. So I'm going to leave timestamps down below as usual, so that if you're looking for anything in particular, then you can just go check that out. So without further ado, if you want to know how I made this beautiful dress, then make sure you keep on watching. Alright guys, so these are the materials you're going to need for this tutorial. So first of all, you're going to need Ankara. Okay, so I worked with Ankara fabric for this, and I used about 2 to 3 yards. This fabric wasn't even enough for me for the project, so I had to make a lot of adjustments for it to fit. I actually wanted it to be like a full boubou, like a long boubou, but I just had to work with what I had, and I just made it a short dress instead. So yeah, you just want to make sure that your fabric is ample enough if you want to use this to make a full boubou, like a long boubou. All right, so let's just get onto it. And then you also get to need your basic tools. And then these are the materials that you're going to use. So you want to get your bust, waist, hip, armhole, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip, and your dress length. So I have a tutorial on how to get all these measurements, and they're linked above. So yeah, let's just get straight into the tutorial. Okay, so what you want to do is that just want to go ahead to just cut it out to be 45 inches wide, and then the length can be whichever length you want, but you want the length to be ×2. Okay, so if you measure maybe for like from your shoulder to the floor, then you want to times that by 2, because you're going to be having the front panel and the back panel. And so yeah, that is what you want to do. So as you can see, I'm just going ahead to pin down the fabric because I want to go ahead to get the middle point at the top of the fabric. So you just want to pin down your fabric, want to pin it down, making sure that each panel, like the front panel and the back panel, are aligned properly. So you just want to go to the top of that fold there, and you want to go ahead to pin down the top point of the folds at the right, left, and middle, so that you'll be able to, so that when you open it up, you will be able to get the middle of the fabric, because we're going to be making our neckline like that. We're not using pattern for this, so you just have to just get the middle part, so that we'll be able to make an accurate neckline that is at the middle of the fabric. So once you do that, you just want to open it up like so, and then once you open it up, you would notice that you can actually see those pins that you pinned. So then after you do that, you just want to go ahead to get your straight ruler, and you just want to connect those pins together, okay, because that is what is going to give us the middle of the fabric. So now that you have that line, you just want to go ahead to fold the fabric in terms of the width. Okay, so we folded it in terms of the length before, and now we are folding the width. Okay, so you just want to go to the bottom part of the fabric, and you just want to fold it like so. So once you fold it, then you pin it down, and then you do the other thing for the other side, and then you do it for the middle as well. So that's just how you do it. All right, so once you're done with that, it should look like this, and you should be able to see the line that you've created that is for the middle. Okay, so what you just want to do now is I just want to make that line a little bit more pronounced. Okay, so you just want to go ahead to measure the length of your neckline. Okay, so for the back panel, this side is for the back panel, and as you can see, I'm just going ahead to measure 1 inch for that back panel, and then for the front panel, you would see that I used 5 inches, but I would suggest that you use 7 instead, because of the detailing that we added to the neckline. We don't want the neckline to be too upward, so that it won't look awkward. So you can just do 7 inches, but it depends on you. If you want your neckline to be a little bit up, it depends on what you're going for, it depends on the style that you're going for. So you just want to go to the line that is the middle, and you just want to go ahead to measure 3 inches like so. Okay, just measure 3 inches on that straight line, and then you just mark it there. So once you've done that, you're just going to go ahead to connect it with the length of the front panel and the length of the back panel. Okay, so for the front panel I wanted a v-neck, so all I just did was I just connected those 2 points like so, and I got my v-neck. But for the back panel we want it to be like some sort of like a curve, so I just used my freehand for this because my French curve wasn't around. But if wasn't near me, but if you have your French curve near you, then you could just use your French curve for a more accurate line. So after that, yes, we are done with our neckline. So that's just that. And then after that, you just want to go ahead to just cut it like so. And once you're done with that, it should look like this. So we're just going to go ahead to just make our silhouette of our body on like at the top of the fabric like so. So yeah, we're going to be doing that in a sewing version. Okay, so just stick around for that. Okay, so now that we're done with the body of the dress, it's time for us to add it's time for us to cut out the detailing that we have. Okay, so for you to cut the side organza that we have at the sides of the dress, you just want to go ahead to measure 4 inches. Okay, so this is going to be 4 inches wide, and then the length is going to be determined by the length of your dress. So I just went ahead to just cut 4 pieces, so each piece was the full length of my dress, like from my shoulder to wherever my dress stops. So each organza piece was 4 inches wide, and the length of it was the full measurement of my dress. And in total I had 4 pieces. Okay, so this is for the front panel at the right and the front panel at the back at the left, and then for the back panel at the right and the back panel at the left. So the very first thing that you want to do is that you want to hem the sides and the hem of the dress. Okay, so you want to go ahead to hem the sides, and you also want to hem the top and the bottom of the fabric. Do you understand? So that's just what I'm doing here. So I'm just hemming the sides, the left and the right, and then I'm going ahead to hem the bottom part as well, the top, like the bottom parts of the fabric, so that all the raw edges are finished. And so you just want to go ahead to get the body of the dress right, and then you want to get that part. Okay, so I went ahead to notch it at where the neckline of the back and the front meet. So once you do that, you just want to go ahead to just ensure that you mark out the middle points of the top of the fabric like so. Do you understand? Because we're going to be using that to join the organza with the fabric. Okay, so you just want to go ahead to do it for the other side as well. You just want to take that part that you notch, the part that is connecting the front and the back neckline together, and then you just want to pin it like so, so that you're able to get the top part, like the exact middle of the top part. So if you cut out 4 organza pieces like me because you didn't have enough fabric to work with, then you could just go ahead to join 2 organza pieces together. Okay, so once you do that, you want to take the part where you joined them together, and you just want to go ahead to just connect that part where you joined the organza together. You want to connect it to that part that we pinned, that is the middle of the top of the dress. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So this is just a step for you to do, just to make it look more professional, because this is a transparent fabric. Okay, so you don't want that part where the where you joined the 2 parts to be. You don't want it to be showing, because it's just going to look unprofessional, and if it's just like at a particular place, it just looks somehow. So you want to ensure that it's at the top. So if you don't want to have it at all, you could just make the organza that you're working with, just make it a very long strip, but you have to have enough fabric for that. Okay, so what you want to do is that you just want to put the dress at the back panel, and then what you're going to do is that you're just going to be folding the organza. Okay, you're going to be folding it in, putting it in a fold, and then after you fold it on that hemline like so, you're just going to go ahead to just pin it down. Okay, so that is just what is going to enable you to be able to get this done fast. Okay, because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to sew it right sides together, right? Then after that, you now turn it over and then sew on top of it. But I just wanted to be like faster with this, because it's quite a lot, because it was still long at the time. So I just wanted to like fast track the process, but you would see the way I would sew it, so that you'll be able to like understand exactly what I'm doing. But just do this part now, and then we'll get on to the sewing later. Okay, so once you're done with that, you just want to put it to the right side, and then what you're going to do is you're going to fold the organza like that, and then you're just going to put it down like this on the right side, and voila, you're going to have your stitches on the right side and on the wrong side. Isn't that nice? Yeah, it's nice. Okay, so as you can see, that's just what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead to just be folding it as I'm sewing, but as I'm sewing, I'm also going to be making sure that I'm looking under, so that the stitching is also reaching the back as well. Okay, because you want to ensure that it's reaching the back as well. You want to ensure that it's reaching the wrong side as well, and you also want to make sure that you are sewing as close to the edge as you can. Although, like, at some point I just fell off with this, and I just felt it wasn't even really necessary. As far as you're just sewing on the fold, that's all that matters. So as you can see, I'm just ensuring that the pins are being removed as I'm sewing along, and I'm also using that to just gauge and just make sure that everything is in place, and that as I'm sewing, I'm going to be sewing both the front and the back. Do you understand? So yeah, that's just that for that. So you just want to do this and do this and do this until you are done with the full length of the dress at the right side, and then you want to go ahead to do it on the left side as well. So for the neckline, for the organza design that we have at the neckline, you want to cut out your organza fabric, and you want to cut it out to be 4 inches wide, and then the length depends on you. It depends on how long you want it to be. It could be 6 inches, 10 inches, even 20 inches. It depends on what you're going for. But for me, because I didn't have enough fabric, I just went ahead to just get some scraps of fabric, and I just put them together, and I just pin them down like so. But it depends on you, the length. It depends on what you're going for. Okay, so then once you cut out your fabric, you're just going to go ahead to just join it together. You're just going to go ahead to just sew the right sides together, because we're going to be making this in form of like a strap, so we want it to be neat. So you just want to sew the strap with the right sides facing each other, and then you want to sew the hem as well. So then once you sew the hem, then you're just going to turn it over to the right side, and then it's just going to look like this, and then you're just going to do that for the other side as well. And then once you're done with that, it's time for you to sew the neckline. Okay, so for the neckline, originally I wanted it to be sewn with bias, but it just wasn't looking as neat as I like. It just wasn't look as neat as I'd like. And at this point, I had even like sewn the side seams as well, but it just was just looking off. So I decided to like just revamp it and just start over again. So I went ahead to get scrap fabric that I had from the Ankara fabric. But if you have ample fabric, you just need to just cut out like a sizable amount of fabric. So once you cut out that sizable amount of fabric, you just want to place your dress. Okay, you want to place your dress at the neckline part. You want to place it with the right sides facing each other. Okay, so once you place it with the right sides facing each other, then you're just going to go ahead to just pin it down. Okay, so you're going to pin down the dress, the neckline. You're going to pin down the neckline and the facing together, okay, with the right sides facing each other. Okay, so I used a different method, a method that I've actually never tried before, but I just wanted my creativity to just flow, to just try something new, because apparently this dress really challenged me, because I just had to like work with the fabric that I had. I just had to like use techniques that would work with the fabric that I had. Okay, so I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut and sew facing. So like if you don't want to try out this way of sewing your facing, then you could just go ahead to just go watch that video. But if you want to try a new way, then you could just see how I did it. Okay, so in order for you to be able to get where you are supposed to put your needle, where you're supposed to start your needle, you want to go to the bottom of that v neckline like so. Okay, I just want to make a straight line all the way from that point. Okay, because that is just what is going to tell you where the v neckline should start, where your stitch should start, in order for you to be able to get an accurate v. Do you understand? So you just want to go ahead to just measure that. Okay, so I wanted to have like half an inch of seam allowance all around the neckline, so I just went ahead to just measure that line, and wherever the half an inch mark stopped, I just put my needle in there like so. Okay, so for the neckline, for sewing the neckline, you want to make sure that you start at the dip of the neckline like so. You want to start at that sharp edge, at the sharp edge of the v neckline. So once I wanted to start, I noticed that I did not pin it properly. Okay, you want to make sure that I pin it properly. Like you can even pin the neckline round, so that it doesn't move around and everything. I just be able to like get an accurate thing. Okay, so once I did that, I just went ahead to just start sewing. So I just started sewing my neckline like so. I just made sure that there was like half an inch of seam allowance from my stitch to the neckline like so. So this can be like like quite confusing. I may make a video on like different ways to sew facing, so that I'll be able to like make an in-depth video, especially with like a fabric that is not really that doesn't really have this many patterns, because that's like an issue when it comes to like trying to make tutorials with fabrics that have patterns. You may not really like see what exactly is happening. Okay, and I also made a mistake here. Who knows the mistake? Who can tell me the mistake? Okay, so if you can't like figure out the mistake now, don't worry, you'll soon be able to figure it out. Okay, so yeah, you soon figure it out. But yeah, I made a mistake. So as you can see, what I'm just doing is that I'm just sewing the neckline to the facing, and I'm just making sure that if there's a corner, I'm just going to like try to like just maneuver my clothing to fit that corner. Okay, I'm just like turning it. If it's a straight line, I'm just trying to make sure that I maintain a straight line. And then I'm also, you know, feeding my fabric through that hole, because this is like a tabletop machine, so there's not that much allowance to give for the fabrics to pass through. So it's quite tricky, especially if you're working with fabric that is quite a lot, or if you're making like a boo that has like a lot of length, and you want to make sure that you're sewing straight. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just going ahead to just like adjust my fabric. Okay, I'm adjusting my fabric, making sure that everything is laying flat and laying neat. Okay, you don't want to have any creasing. You want to take your time to just do this and just do it well. And you can also be like checking the bottom of the this thing and just making sure that everything is going the way it's meant to go. Okay, so once you get to like the bottom part, you just want to make sure that you target that part. Okay, you want to target that part there, and once you get to that stitch, you just want to go ahead to just back stitch, and yeah, you're done with your neckline. All right, so now we're done with that. But what was a mistake? What did I forget to add? What did I forget to add? Drum roll, please. The straps for the neckline. Yes, I forgot to add that because I was just so excited to just see if this method would work, and it did. So yeah, I just have to just go ahead, but like it's not a do or die thing. What like all I just need to do is just get my best friend, which is what the seam ripper. Okay, so I just want to go ahead to just use the seam ripper to just remove the stitches. So in order for you to know where you're going to place the straps, you just want to go ahead to just go to that notched part that you notched for the top of the neckline, and then you just want to measure about 3 inches. Okay, so I went with 2.5 inches for this. I just went ahead to mark 2.5 inches on both sides of the neckline like so, and then I'm just going to go ahead to just seam rip the stitches that I've made. I'm going to rip the stitches that I've made from that point. And once you're done with that, you just want to go ahead to just put the straps through. Okay, so you want to ensure that the one that is going to be outwards here is the one that is like already finished, so that you know it's going to have like in a neat look. And when you're pinning it together, you want to make sure that the facing is the way it's meant to be. The facing is laying flat. So once you do that, you just want to pin it down, and then once you pin it down, you're just going to go ahead to just connect the stitches together. Okay, so you're just going to make a stitch line that is going to connect the stitch at the top and at the bottom. Do you understand? So yeah, that's just that for that. And don't mind me, oh, I'm talking like you made that same mistake. Please don't make that same mistake. All you just need to do is that before you actually sew the facing onto the neckline, you just want to go ahead to just put the straps like there already, so that once you're sewing everything, you're sewing it on a straight line and there's no issue. Okay, so don't do what I did, please. Sorry for that little mistake. All right, so now that we're done with the neckline, all you just want to do is I just want to bring out the facing a little bit like so, and then you just want to cut it out. So you just want to cut out the facing like following the shape of the neckline. Do you understand? So you just want to be turning it and just be cutting it out like so. But please and please be careful with this. Okay, don't go and overcut and go and cut your fabric. Okay, see, can you see? The devil is a what? The devil is a liar, period. So yeah, that's what you want to do. You just want to cut it out, but please be careful here. Okay, it's a lot of fabric to work with, especially if you're working with like especially if you want your dress to be long. It's a lot of fabric, so just be careful with this. Okay, and when you're cutting the V neckline, you just want to be careful with that as well. So in order to make the V pop out more, all you just want to do is I just want to make a small notch at that part. Okay, so you want to make sure that the notch you're making is a straight line that is proportionate to the V. Okay, but you want to make sure that you don't cut through the stitch. Okay, don't cut through the stitch, just cut enough. And then once you do that, then you're just going to put your facing into the into the dress like so, into the neckline like so. And then once you do that, you're going to be able to see your neckline being neatly finished and neatly nice. So please use this facing, okay? Use facing if you didn't really like get this method. If you didn't get this like unconventional method, all you just need to do is just go to my description box. I already linked down the video on how to cut and sew facing the traditional way. Would I say traditional way? Yes. So you just want to go ahead to just do it that way, so that you don't have any issues, because the facing method is just the best, because the bias was just looking somehow, it's not looking nice, it's not looking neat, okay? And we're all about making neat professional dresses, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so that's just that for that. And then here you can also go ahead to just overlock the raw edges of your facing, just overlock the raw edges of the facing as well, so that it's really neat inside the dress. And then just go ahead to just iron it down and just press it down until everything is laying flat and laying nice. All right, so we're almost done with the dress. Okay, so so next thing that you want to do is that you want to get the straps. Okay, so at the beginning I cut the straps as organza, but the organza just wasn't looking nice because I cut it 1.5 inches, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so for this one, you just want to cut your straps to be about 2.5 inches wide or 3 inches wide. It depends on how wide you want your straps to be, but 2 inches is okay. And the length should be the length of your dress. Okay, so the length should be the length should be your dress length, which is your shoulder to wherever your dress stops. Okay, so after that, all you just want to do is that you just want to put the straps with the right sides facing each other, and then you want to sew. And of course, once you get to the end, you're just going to go ahead to just sew the bottom part of the strap as well, so that you'll be able to turn it over. And once you're done doing that for all of the straps, you just want to go ahead to just get your bodkin, and you just want to turn it to the right side like so. I just want to do that for the other straps as well. All right, so you just want to get your dress, and then you just want to pin it down. Okay, make sure that the front panel and back panel is pinned down properly, proportionately. The length is aligning, the width is aligning, and let's just get straight into marking out the body of the dress so that we're able to shape it to our fit. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is that you want to mark the armhole. Okay, so for the armhole, I went with 9 inches instead, because my armhole is usually 8 inches, but I just added an inch to that because I wanted it to just have that free silhouette. Okay, so I'm just marking that. I'm just marking 9 inches at the left and the right side. So you just want to mark your armhole plus 1 inch, your armhole divided by 2, and then you just add 1 inch just for ease. So then after you do that, on that line that you've created now, that is going to be our new bust line. Okay, so you just want to go ahead to just measure the full width of the dress. Okay, measure the full width of the dress. So the calculation here that you want to do is that you want to measure the full width of the dress, right, and keep that. Okay, so then after you do that, you're going to get your bust measurements, right, because this is the bust line now. You want to get your bust measurement, divide that by 2. Okay, so once you divide that by 2, you're not going to, whatever measurement you get, you're not going to minus that by the full measurement that we have of the width of the dress. Do you understand? So for instance, now the full width of the dress is 35 inches. Okay, so my bust is 34, so divided by 2, that is 17. Okay, so 35 minus 17, that gave me 18. So 18 divided by 2, that's 9, right? So I'm not going to remove 1 inch from that 9, because I want it to be to have more ease. Okay, so whatever measurement I got at the end, that is the measurement that I'm not going to mark at the left and at the right. Do you understand? So that's just the way to go about it. Okay, so then after that, what you want to do is that you want to repeat the same thing for the waist and the hip. Okay, so you just want to measure from your shoulder to your waist. Okay, the best thing for you to do is measure from your shoulder to your waist. I don't want to bombard you with so many calculations, so you just want to measure from your shoulder to your waist, and then whatever measurement you get, you're just going to mark it like so. Okay, and then you're just going to repeat the same process. Okay, repeat the same process that you did. First of all, measure the width of the of the dress itself, like of the fabric itself. And then you're going to get your waist measurements. Okay, so my waist measurements was 28. I divided that by 14. That gave me I divided that by 2. That gave me 14. And then I divided that by 2 again, and that gave me 7. Okay, so I'm going to be removing 1 inch from that 7 because I want it to be free. Okay, so it depends on you. If you want it to be tight, then you could just like do it normally, but just keep in mind that you won't be able to fit into your dress if you make it the exact measurement. Okay, you won't be able to fit into your dress if it's the exact measurement, so just keep that in mind. Unless you want to add like an opening, maybe buttons at the center front, then you could make it your full measurement. Okay, all right. And then like whatever measurements you get, you're just going to mark it at the left and at the right. Okay, so you're just going to continue this. So for the hip as well, just measure your waist to your hip, and then whatever measurements you get, do the exact same process. So for the bottom part of the boo boo, I just went ahead to just use like my hip measurements for that. Okay, so what I just did was that once I got to the hip line, I just drew a straight line that just got went all the way down to the hem of the dress. Okay, so that it's to just have that straight silhouette. And then once I was done with that, I just went ahead to just use my chalk and my straight ruler to just connect all those points like so. And then once I was done with that, I just went ahead to just take it to my sewing machine, and I'm just sewing on that chalk. Okay, so I'm making sure that all the stitches that I'm making is on that chalk line. Okay, so if you don't want your dress to have the drawstring detail and you just want it to be a normal boo, then you're literally done with this dress. But if you want it to have the drawstring detailing, all you just need to do is I just need to take your footer, and you just want to, just make sure that your footer is maybe like half an inch away from the original stitch that you made, and then you just want to sew. Okay, so you just want to make another stitch at the side of that stitch. Do you understand? So that will be what will create the tunnel for the strings to be able to enter, and that is what will be able to give us the drawstring effect. So you don't really need to like make chalk markings for this because you are just going to be using your eyes to just get that. Okay, and making sure that the you are consistent with the allowance that you're leaving at the side of the stitch. Okay, you want to make sure that it's the same all through from the top to the bottom. Do you understand? So you're just going to repeat do this, and then you're going to repeat it again so that you have two tunnels for these strings to pass through. Okay, so what we just want to do is that you just want to pass the strings through the tunnels. Okay, so you could either use a bodkin for this, or you could use a safety pin. It depends on what you want to use. Okay, so you just want to place the string through the tunnel, and then you just want to be adjusting it like so, just passing it through, passing it through until it comes out from the other side. And then once it's out, all you just want to do is that you just want to pin it down to secure that one. Okay, and then you're going to repeat that for the other tunnel as well. And then once you've been able to do that for the two tunnels, all you just want to do is I just want to go ahead to just tack the strings together at that part there, and then voila, you have your drawstring dress. That is that for this tutorial, and this is what it looks like on. It's really nice, and you know me now, me and drawstring, we are like 5 and 6 because it just gives this versatility. Okay, so you can make this a long dress, and you can also make it a short top. It depends on the look that you're feeling that day. Alright guys, so that is it for this tutorial. I hope it was easy for you to follow. If you have any questions regarding anything at all, then you can just leave a comment down below and I will reply you. And also make sure that you comment down below if you're going to recreate the dress, or if you just love this dress and you're looking to recreate it in the future, because that just helps me to know that some people are fucking with my content. Okay, so that is just that for that. Thank you so much for watching. Please go check out my profile. I have a catalog of different playlists that you could get inspired by, based on like tops, based on dresses, based on hair accessories, based on workwear and all of that. So just go check that out, and thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure you subscribe, make sure that you like this video as well, and make sure you share it to anyone that you think might need it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.